What is up, guys? Kianbai here. MiHoYo has just tweeted out all the banners for the reruns of Albedo, Eula, as well as the weapon banner, as well as some event information. So I want to make this video real quick to go over these banners, as well as my thoughts if you guys should pull or not pull on these banners for weapon and character, and slightly go over the events as well too. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. So if you guys are unaware, both the character banners of Albedo as well as Eula's banner as well as the weapon banner will all be available immediately once the 2.3 live servers go up. Arataki Ito will not be available right away. He's on the later half of it, and the servers will be up approximately around November 24th, 11 a.m. UTC plus 8, where the servers are going down 6 a.m. UTC plus 8. Alright, so for the first banner, it's going to be Albedo as the 5-star with Rosaria, Noelle, and Bennett as the 4-star. Eula's banner is going to be the exact same with Eula as the 5-star, Rosaria, Noelle, and Bennett as the 4-stars. Part of the reason for this is because the pity is going to be shared between both banners for the reruns. So if you guys are unfamiliar with this means, if you guys for some reason summon 10 times on the Eula banner, the Albedo banner will also have 10 pity. If you guys end up getting a 5-star on either of the banners, the pity will reset as well too. So it doesn't necessarily matter which banner you summon on for the 4-stars. If you change your mind partway through to go for Eula instead of Albedo, it'll be the same exact thing. Just consider it as if they're both on the exact same banner, except that Eula will be rate up on her own banner and Albedo will be rate up on his, so there's no like double rate up situation happening. Such as with weapons, where the weapons have 75% rate up chance, but once you get a rate up weapon, it's split 50-50. So for the weapon banner, the rate up 5-star weapons are going to be Freedom Sworn, as well as Song of Broken Pines. Song of Broken Pines being a claymore, as well as Freedom Sworn being a support longsword. The 4-star weapons are going to be Alley Hunter for the bow. The longsword is going to be Lion's Roar. The polearm is going to be Dragon's Bane, the catalyst is going to be Wine and Song, and the claymore is going to be Sacrificial Greatsword. Before we go in depth on the characters, I want to really quickly go over this weapon banner because it's a little bit underwhelming, so it's going to be really quick to talk about. The 5-star weapons are both really great. Freedom Sworn is an amazing weapon on Kazuha, and Song of Broken Pines is a perfect weapon for Eula, and it's still a really strong 5-star weapon for things such as Diluc, where Song of Broken Pines does more damage than Wolf's Gravestone. The 4-star weapons, on the other hand, though, are very underwhelming. Alley Hunter for the bow is a not very good bow. The passive is pretty nice as it increases damage over time when you're off field, so it's a great support DPS bow weapon. However, you can always use things such as Stringless on a lot of characters, and one of the big problems with Alley Hunter is it's a limited time weapon, meaning it's not available on standard banner, as well as it's not really rate up a lot of times on weapon banners as well too. So if you want more refinements on it, you're gonna have to wait a very long time or go really deep and go get your refinements while it's available right now. Wine and Song is a really not good catalyst weapon as well too, because the passive just doesn't really fit with a lot of people. It increases your sprint, like reduces stamina consumption on sprint when you do a normal attack. Now for the other weapons, Sacrificial Greatsword is an okay energy recharge weapon, but Favonius Greatsword can also always be used as well too, and not many people use energy recharge claymores, except maybe something like Beto at certain times, but with the introduction of Emblem of Seraphate, people don't often use it a whole lot. Dragon's Bane is a very good weapon for Hu Tao or Vaporize as a budget weapon alternative to Staff of Homa. However, outside of that, people don't really use it, as more people use the new polearm that's currently available, the Wavebreaker Fin. That's a limited weapon, or they use the catch on things like such as Xiangling as a budget weapon as opposed to some of the 5-star weapons. Lion's Roar is also not very used outside of using it on Xingqiu for very big vape one-shot teams, or for a Raiden national team as well too. Some people often can use it for Kaching, but outside of that, it's not that used. So if you guys missed out on Freedom Sworn for Kazuha and you really like Kazuha and you want to really min-max him, you guys can definitely go for Freedom Sworn. And Song of Broken Pines, if you guys really like Eula, definitely go for it. If you guys are trying to pull this weapon for any other Claymore users such as Diluc and all that kind of stuff, I don't really recommend going for that. The 4-star weapons are very underwhelming, and if you guys are a risk taker and you guys want to build like 10-20 pity up, because it's very dangerous to build up pity on the weapon banner, because the weapon banner has a 0.7% chance to get a 5-star, as well as I've seen a lot of people get 5-stars really early on the weapon banner, so just be very careful. But this weapon banner here that we currently have is technically better for 4-stars, and the 5-stars are kind of maybe better. It depends on how you look at it and what characters you have, but Wavebreaker Fin is pretty dope when you get it refined, as well as the Moen's Moon can be a good support bow weapon in the future. Witsit's not super used on a lot of people. Especially because Mona has been kind of ferried into a freeze position nowadays with Thrilling Tales, Dragon Slayer, Favonius Codex. Range Slasher, nobody uses it all, really. And Sacrificial Sword can be used on Xingqiu, especially with Hu Tao, but if you are using Xingqiu with Raiden, it's not really that useful either. Alright, so now let's first start off with the 4-star characters. It's, once again, Rosaria, Noelle, and Bennett. At the very quick TLDR, Rosaria is pretty okay as she increases crit rate for allies based on part of her crit rate, as well as a pretty decent cryo battery and also decent cryo damage with cryo application as well too. But oftentimes you don't really see Rosaria being used due to the fact that Diona is often the cryo battery, shielder, healer, things like that, double cryo resonance, but there is times you can use Rosaria. Noelle, on the other hand, isn't very used often because of the fact that her cooldowns are very long, and Arataki Ito will probably just replace her in terms of main damage dealer, Claymore, Geo person, if you really like Geo characters. She's not very good as a healer because you have to be on field with her to heal, and if you are on field to heal with her, it is damage lost away from your main damage dealer. Bennett is obviously the god of Genshin, the only 6-star character, arguably the best character in the game. He attacks, he heals, buffs, he does it all. So if you guys don't own Bennett, it could definitely be worthwhile for you to summon a little bit on this banner. If you guys have no interest in either of the 5-star characters, so you guys can pick them up. Is C1 necessary? C1 is helpful, but it's definitely not necessary to force and risk if you guys absolutely do not want either of the 5-star characters. If you guys want the 5-star characters, more power to you to get C1, because Rosaria can be helpful for physical freeze as well as a main damage dealer. I'm just going to very briefly go over which constellations are going to be very important for characters in case you guys are trying to go for constellations on some of these 4-stars. C1 is going to be very nice as it gives an additional 20% bonus of Bennett's base attack to your allies, as well as it gets rid of the 70% threshold. The 70% threshold is not that hard to get to. It usually gets to it about in 1 to 2 seconds if you guys are below that threshold anyways. So that's why I say C1 is not absolutely necessary, but it definitely is a nice quality of life buff. C2 will cause his energy recharge to go higher when he has low HP, so that can be helpful, but I wouldn't rely on C2 to get your energy recharge. You should balance your energy recharge properly. The elemental skill is buffed by your C3, and then C4 is going to make it so that your elemental skill gets an extra slam attack. This one's honestly pretty useless, so don't worry about this one. C5 is going to be one of the more important ones as it buffs your burst level by 3 levels if you want to, but once again, don't necessarily try to force this. It will come over time. And then C6 is the one most people don't want to put in because this will make it so that your character's attacks, your auto attacks, or your charge attacks and whatnot will be considered pyro damage when they're inside Bennett's field. This can be bad for certain characters as it will convert their elemental conversion for those that don't have the text line where their elemental conversion are not superimposed. This is absolutely terrible if you also have it with Eula. So if you guys pull Bennett and go have the opportunity to get C6 and you love playing Eula, don't do this, please, because Eula's best team, one of her best teams, is strongly Bennett, Raiden, or Electro MC with Eula. For Rosaria, her C1 is kind of useless as a support. As a main damage dealer, it's definitely useful, as C2 is going to extend her burst duration by 4 seconds, so it's definitely useful as a support. C3 is not that helpful because it just increases the elemental skill level for more damage. C4 is slightly helpful, but absolutely not necessary because it just gives you energy, 5 energy back out of your 60 energy required when you deal a crit with your elemental skill. C5 increases your burst level, which can definitely help if you're trying to use her in like a reverse melt team or just have additional damage as well too. But C6 is probably her more important one if you are running her with Eula on the off chance you are using Eula plus Rosaria on a team, where it reduces opponents' physical resistance by 20%. In my opinion, none of Rosaria's constellations are really that necessary. C2 can be useful to increase her burst duration by 4 seconds, but it's absolutely not necessary to make her usable and viable. Alright, really quickly for Noelle, C1 makes it so that she has a 100% chance to heal when she uses her burst and element skill. Once again, she's not a very good healer, so I don't recommend it. C2 is one where it increases her charge attack damage as well as reduces her charge stamina. This is for memes if you guys like memeing with Noelle. C3 increases her breastplate or elemental skill level, makes her shield stronger and all that kind of stuff. C4 makes it so that her shield explodes for 400% of her attack when it gets destroyed. Her C5 makes her burst skill higher level, so more damage and more conversion. And C6 is one that is going to be her important one if you guys actually care about her, where it converts 50% of her defense into attack, or adds on 50% of her defense as a bonus to her attack. And if you guys are unaware, Noelle's burst also does the same thing, where it gives 68% or whatever percent of her defense based on your level as an attack bonus as well too. So essentially, Noelle, you build her with defense. She could do really well with the new defense artifact set as well too, if you guys really like her. Now really quickly for Albedo, I 100% don't recommend people go for 5-star constellations on 5 stars because it's absolutely not necessary. But if you guys really like some of these 5 stars, feel free to make your 5-star character even stronger. C1 will make it so that he regenerates energy, 1.2 energy. Remember, this is 1.2 energy and not particles, which is a bit of a problem because Albedo really doesn't need it, because usually you run Albedo with double Geo, triple Geo, quadruple Geo with Goro coming out possibly, and his energy cost is 40, so you really don't have energy issues when it comes down to playing Albedo. C2 makes it so that his burst will be stronger based on how many times your elemental skill procs, and this will be scaled off your defense. So if you have the new artifact set as well as that new event weapon, this could be definitely good for a pretty nice damage upgrade, because this can go up to 4 stacks for 120% damage of Albedo's defense, right? And then his C3 will increase his elemental skill by 3 levels to make his elemental skill do more damage, which is where Albedo's bread and butter damage comes from. C4 makes it so your plunge attacks deal more damage when you're inside of Albedo's elemental skill field. However, this is not really that useful because you really don't use his flower for a damage upgrade to do plunges. Occasionally you will. This is more so if you guys are a Xiao main and you guys are a big whale and you want to make C4 Albedo and deal more damage. C5 will make his burst skill do more damage, but remember, his burst skill scales off of attack, and you're really primarily going to be focusing on your defense for Albedo, so this is not that helpful either. And then C6 is just that whale flex, where if you have a crystallized shield and you're inside Albedo's field, you'll have a 17% damage increase bonus. However, remember that if you have something like Zhongli Shield and Crystallized Shield, both Zhongli Shield and Crystallized Shield will take damage at the same exact same time. It's not a sort of thing where if you put Zhongli Shield and then pick up Crystallized Shield, it'll eat through Zhongli Shield, then the Crystallized Shield. Every shield gets evaporated equally. Now, if you were to get constellations for one of the 5-star characters between Albedo and Eula, I would definitely recommend for Eula, because her constellations actually do a pretty significant increase in damage. Her C1 will make it so that when she does an E-hold, she'll get a physical damage bonus by 30% for 6 seconds, and each stack consumed, where she can have 2 stacks in total, she can go all the way up to 18 seconds duration with 6 seconds for each stack. Her C2 will make it so that her E-hold will be the same duration as her E-tap, from 10 seconds for E-hold down to 4 seconds for a tap. Her C3 is a pretty nice one as well too, where it'll increase her burst skill level by 3 levels, where most of her damage is in her burst, where also a big amount of damage comes from her E-hold as well as her auto attacks too. Her C4 makes it so her Lightfall swords, which come from E-hold with 2 stacks or whatnot, as well as her burst, deal 25% increased damage against opponents with less than 50% HP. This one's kind of iffy because most of the time Eula is a character that is meant to deal a massive chunk to enemies' HP from 100 to 0 or 100 to 20. She's just a big burst monster, right? So I don't know how many times you'll be using this passive to deal damage to enemies with less than 50% HP. Her C5 increases her elemental skill by 3 levels, which can be nice, but it's absolutely not a big change. Her C6 is the big one that makes her become the possible highest damage dealer in the game, where it causes her Lightfall swords to start with 5 stacks when she uses her burst skill, and then when she does a normal attack, element skill, or burst, they have a 50% chance to grant Lightfall swords an additional stack of energy. Essentially, every time you deal a hit, you have a 50% chance to generate an extra stack compared to when you generate a stack through auto attacks. Now, a recommendation for if you should pull for Albedo or Eula for C0 or C constellations on them, I think they're both definitely fine. Albedo with this new artifact set as well as this new event weapon can definitely be a very strong contender for just being on any sort of team, just be a boost in damage, especially if you're missing proper team comps. But with the double Geo setup, this could actually be pretty nasty with Albedo if you use double Geo teams. The most popular double Geo teams, though, however, are the Hu Tao Xingqiu double Geo or the Xiao plus a Nemo plus double Geo as well too. Eula is the best physical damage dealer in the game, but some people don't necessarily like her playstyle with the 7-second backloaded burst of exploding. It's definitely your choice. She's definitely a nice character to play for some people. You just gotta definitely do the trial run and see if you like her or not. Alright, since this video is getting a little bit long, we're not going to really talk about the events. If you guys want to know more about the 2.3 update and the events, check out the other video on my YouTube channel. Hopefully this video was helpful in you guys knowing about which banner you guys want to summon on. Make sure you guys leave a like, comment down below which banner you guys are going for, as well as which 5-star character, especially if you're going for constellations, or if you guys are saving for Arataki Ito as well too. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Genshin and Gacha content. Follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/KLMPie to watch Albedo and Eula gameplay once the update goes live. Make sure you guys join our Discord to be part of our Genshin Impact community. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content as well too. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace!